If you're looking for more performance out of your 2005 through 2023 6-lug Toyota Tacoma and need some tailored height and a more responsive ride, this set of Freedom Offroad 2.5-inch to 5-inch adjustable coilovers with the Endlinks is a great mod to consider. Now, this is a solid choice for the Tacoma owner who wants to lift their truck for better clearance, articulation, and overall performance on the dirt and wants the option to dial in their height specifically to their setup, whatever that is, focused on tire size, weight, or other specs on the build. Now, with offering a big bumping capability, this is also a pretty affordable option in the category if you want a more mid-level solution to a lift compared to other higher level choices. With this kit, you will need supporting components in order to achieve that 5-inch lift mark with these coilovers. Freedom Offroad recommends differential drop spacers, lift spindles, upper control arms, and extended sway bar end links for that max lift height, so just keep that in mind when you're checking this kit out. Now, this kit features 2 pre-assembled coilovers with a large range in height adjustability, which allows for a more dialed in lift height compared to other limited options, great for better tire and ground clearance, and a much more aggressive aesthetic to the Tacoma overall. However, the tire fitment would depend on the height that you're looking to set your suspension to, but between 2.5 inches and 5.5 inches, you could fit anywhere from a 32 up to a 34-inch tire, so a 33 is going to be your best bet if you don't want to make any modifications. Now, the kit also comes with properly sized extended end links to allow for better stability when adding this to the truck, but depending on the height, I also do recommend pairing some upper control arms with this kit to enhance the benefits of this setup. Now, the coilovers are made of steel and aluminum materials. All are powder coated to avoid any corrosion or rusting from happening even in tough conditions. The coilover dampeners also have a monotube design, which allows for a more responsive feel over uneven terrain and more consistent performance over time by reducing shock fade, making the internals very durable here for whatever situation that you're in. Now, the links also have a powder coated steel construction very similar to the rest of the kit, so they are going to be durable as well, especially with the upgraded ball joints here. The kit also comes with all of the hardware needed to make the swap, including a spanner wrench to dial in your suspension height. This kit is about $600, which is pretty affordable compared to others in the category. Now, what I will say is that this kit is pretty simple compared to other more inclusive lift kits, making it very easy to customize your suspension if you want specific components in combination with these coilovers. It's also more of a mid-level choice in performance, being a big upgrade compared to other standard strut or lift options, but doesn't go overboard with reservoirs or other bells and whistles that you may not need for your application. Now, regardless, if you want to save a few bucks while getting a large range of height where you can grow your suspension with your Tacoma and a better ride for your truck on and off-road, this is a great option to consider. Now, install here is a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. These are fully assembled, so it shouldn't be overly difficult to get these into place, probably taking about 2 hours or so with the right tools and setup. Now, at this point, I'm gonna hand it over to one of our installers. They're gonna show you a detailed breakdown on how you can bolt these up to your Tacoma at home. So that wraps it up for what I have to say. Let's go ahead and get into the install.
For this install, you will need an impact, a hammer, a bungee cord, an extension, 12, 17, and 19 millimeter sockets, 19 millimeter swivel socket, a pair of needle nose pliers, a tape measure, the supplied spanner, 14, 15, 17, and 18 millimeter ratcheting wrenches, a 19 millimeter wrench, and also not shown here is a jack and jack stands. What's up, guys? Today we're going to be installing a lift kit on our Tacoma, but before we get started, we're going to send you to watch a quick video on how to remove your factory setup, and we'll see you when you get back.
All right, so the first step in our uninstall, with your truck in the air supported, you're gonna remove that front wheel. Now, if you don't have a lift, a jack and jack stands will work fine as long as it's supported safely. Once you've done that, grab a set of needle nose pliers. We're gonna remove the cotter pin holding on that nut for our outer tie rod. So to get this cotter pin out, it helps to straighten the other side. Just go ahead and pinch those 2 pins straight. And once you've done that, grab the opening, use some leverage, and just pull it straight out. And now that your cotter pin is removed, you can get a socket on top of here. We're gonna use a 19 millimeter. Go ahead and remove this nut. Now, if the ball joint is fully seated in this part of the knuckle, it's probably not gonna come out from just force down. What you may need to do here, suggest turning that a little bit to give yourself some more room. Re-thread on this nut to protect your threads. And then we're just gonna strike this side right here with a hammer to release this ball joint. Once that is released, go ahead and remove that nut again and pull it out of the knuckle. Next up, we're gonna remove the sway bar end link from the knuckle. Now you need to remove this 17mm nut. You can do it with an impact, but if the end link starts to spin, you'll need a 17mm wrench and a 6mm Allen key to hold that end link steady so you can break it loose. Then once your nut is removed, go ahead and remove the end link from the knuckle. Next up, we're gonna be removing this bolt that holds on your brake line bracket, just to give us a little extra slack when we drop our knuckle down. Grab a 12mm socket and get this bolt removed. Remove the bracket out of the knuckle. Next up, we can also remove this second bracket that holds the brake line to the frame, just to give us a little bit more room here. We're using a 12mm wrench just because this line's a little bit in the way. You can use a socket with a swivel as well. And make sure you remove the brake line out of this hole as well. There is a second ABS line that is attached to your upper control arm. What you want to do here is grab a 10mm socket and remove this bolt so that you can remove this bracket as well. Next up, we'll be removing this pin holding on the nut for your upper ball joint. And on the far side, this might be a little bit hard to see, but there is a tab that you need to release. And once you've released the back part of this clip, grab a needle nose pliers and just pull it straight out. Now you can see the hook part that we had to release right here. It goes around the edge of the nut. Once you remove that, we can remove the nut. Now that we have that pin removed, we can grab a 19mm socket with a swivel extension and remove this nut. We're actually gonna leave it on just slightly because we will need to hit this part of the knuckle to release it. You'll wanna strike right on the side of the knuckle in order to release this ball joint. Now with a pry bar, we can pry down on that upper control arm to give ourselves a little bit of slack. Remove the nut. And then release the upper control arm out of the knuckle. Now we can fully release the knuckle from the upper control arm. But since we have it hanging off to the side here, what we're gonna do is just have a bungee cord support this for now so that we don't damage the axle, which is still attached. We don't need it to fully support, but as long as we're just taking a little bit of the weight off of it, that will be better. Next up, we're gonna be removing the 3 nuts that hold on the top of the strut. Grab a 14mm socket, or we're using a ratcheting wrench here, and get these removed. You can leave one threaded on slightly just to hold that in place. Continue on to remove the rest of them. This one in the back is probably going to be hard to see, but the same process, using your socket or wrench, go ahead and remove it. Now for the bottom of the strut, you'll need a 19mm wrench. and a 19mm socket and get this nut removed. Now to remove this bolt, right now there's a bit of tension on it from the lower control arm and the strut. Now if you lift up on the lower control arm, you should be able to wiggle it free, and if you don't have a second set of hands, you can grab a rubber mallet and tap it out. In order to make it easier to drop our strut, we are gonna lower the sway bar. This step is optional. If you can wiggle that strut out with the sway bar in place, feel free, but this does make it a lot easier. There's 4 12mm bolts holding on this cover. Once that's removed, we can drop the sway bar down and out of the way. Grab a 12mm socket, go ahead and remove all 4 of these bolts. Next up, remove the other 12mm bolts. This one is at the back. Now we're moving on to the front 2 bolts on your skid plate. These are a little bit harder to get to. You can remove this plastic trim piece, or you can just grab an extension and pull it back slightly. Once you're on it, go ahead and remove that with a 12mm socket. Repeat that with your other bolt at the front of the skid plate. Make sure you're supporting this, as this is the last bolt holding it in. Now with all the bolts removed, you can remove this skid plate by pushing it slightly forward. That will unhook the front. Once it's unhooked on both sides, you can bring it down. Now that we have our skid plate removed, we can remove these 2 14mm bolts on each side that hold on the sway bar bracket. Grab a 14mm bolt and get these removed. Now make sure you have something supporting this so you don't let it fall straight down. And now that we have the sway bar mount disconnected on this side, make sure you repeat those steps to disconnect the end link as well as the mount on the opposite side. And once the sway bar is completely disconnected, you can go ahead and slide it out of the way. Now there are 2 brackets there, so it won't come off the truck unless you remove those, but as long as you push this out of the way, we can now remove the strut assembly. We're removing that nut that we had placed on top just to hold it in place. Then we can bring it out and down and remove it off the truck.
All right guys, welcome back. Now that we have our struts and our end links out, we can begin installing our new setup. We're gonna start with our new struts. So we're gonna get this in, line our upper mounting points up and get our nuts loosely installed. Then we'll work on our lower mounting bolt. Now that we've got our upper nuts in and our lower mounting bolt in place, we'll reinstall our washer and nut. Now that we've got everything loosely in place, we're gonna tighten our lower mounting bolt back down, again with our 19mm socket and extension and our 19mm wrench. Next, we can tighten down our 3 mounting nuts up top with our 15mm ratcheting wrench. So once you've reached this point, you want to make sure to install the strut on the other side. That's going to keep your sway bar out of the way from installing the other one. So these struts are height adjustable coilovers, and to make any adjustments to these, you'll need the provided spanner. And what you'll want to do is grab a tape measure to measure the height you're currently at while the vehicle is sitting on the ground. The best way to do that is from the center of the wheel to the top of your fender. And once you get it up in the air and the wheel's off, you can grab your provided spanner and loosen up the bottom nut, which is going to be the smaller one. And then to raise the vehicle, you want to turn the larger nut up, and to lower it, you want to turn the nut down. And then once you've reached your desired height, you can tighten back up your lower retainer nut, and you want to do that on both sides. Next, we can reattach our upper ball joint to our knuckle, so we'll swing this back in place, get it back through, and reinstall our nut and get that tightened down. Now we'll tighten that back down with our 19mm swivel socket and extension on our impact. Now we'll reinstall our pin. Now we can reinstall our outer tie rod. Take our castle nut off. Now that we have our tie rod in, we can tighten it back down with our 19mm socket and extension on our impact. Now once we've got our tie rod castle nut tightened down, we'll reinstall our cotter pin. Now once you get this in, there's no wrong way to bend this as long as it wraps around the threads and prevents your nut from coming off. Now we can install our new sway bar end link. So the shorter stud is going to go through your sway bar itself. The longer stud will go through the knuckle. Then we'll install our flange nuts and get that tightened down. Do our sway bar. Now we can tighten our new end links down using our 18mm ratchet wrench. Next, we can reattach our brake line bracket to the knuckle with the factory 12mm bolt, and we'll tighten that down with our 12mm socket on our impact. Alrighty folks, that about wraps up our review and install of our Freedom Offroad 2.5 to 5-inch adjustable coilovers with extended end links for your 05 to 23 6-lug Tacoma. Thanks for watching, and as always, for everything Tacoma, keep it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.